Namaskar. Hello viewers and my dear students. Myself Dr Mousumi Paul, Assistant Professor of English, Lbsm College under Kolhan University, Chaibasha. Today I have come to deliver a lecture on the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear, composed by Rabindranath Tagore. It was a very popular poem. It is in the syllabus of Semester 5 UG English Honours, DSE 1A paper, Indian Writing in English. Already we have discussed from this paper 3 more poems and also 1 essay. So hope that they are sufficient, the explanations for all of you, and whatever the queries are about the students, they are asking through telephone and WhatsApp messages, that also I am trying to explain them and also giving them some important questions from whatever I have uploaded, the explanations of the poems and essays. Now here today, Where the Mind is Without Fear, this is the topic of explanation, and it was a very popular poem. It was composed by Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore, also popularly known as Gurudev. He was a great poet, musician, short story writer, novelist, playwright. It was he who has reshaped Bengali literature and music. We can say that we find evident scope in his poems that are very intellectual, and he is a magical writer, we can say, because he captured the attention of the readers, and that is the mesmerizing persona of Gurudev. His literary work was complete in terms of lyricism, naturalism, colloquialism. He was the person, the great literature, who has composed national anthem for 2 countries, Jana Gana Mana for India and Amar Sonar Bangla for Bangladesh. Now here, Where the Mind is Without Fear, as the caption of the poem is, it was a thought-provoking poem. It was written during the pre-independent times when India was under the clutches of British rule. So his agony, his wishes, his pain, we can see through this poem. He envisaged an ideal nation, envisioned a country that we can say an ideal country in terms of the qualities that he had vision, that he wishes the countrymen should have. It should not only a place to live, but it should be a paradise, a heaven to live in. So now I'm going to recite the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words comes out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sands of dead habits, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country away. A very beautiful composition, a thought-provoking poem, a poem that reflects the patriotic feelings of the poet, and the same he wishes for his countrymen also. So here, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, the mind should be fearless. There should not be any prejudices. There should not be any worries. There should not be fear, but one should be pride in one's freedom. where knowledge is free, where one has free access to knowledge, where there should not be any biasness, there should not be any loyalties, but everyone has free access to acquire, to gain knowledge, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, and tribe, because it is the ultimate source of strength and intellect. But the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the world is not broken down into pieces, fragmented, divided by human-made boundaries. It should be holistically as a universe, as a world, as one, and it should not be narrowed down or limited by making these boundaries of religion and caste and creed. It should be one, where words comes out from the depth of truth. Depth of truth, ultimate reality. It should be real. It should be fair enough. It should be honest. So all these qualities should be inculcated in the countryman, in the citizen, to make it an ideal nation, to make it a heaven to live in. So where the words comes out from the depth of truth, it invokes deep patriotic feelings also, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Tireless striving, the tireless one who keeps on trying for attaining his goal, towards attaining perfection, striving his hard work for fulfillment of goals. So the tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Clear stream of reason. The reason should be clear like crystal, but uncorrupted from the power of reasoning. It should not be corrupted, it should not be biased or prejudiced. That is the clear stream of reason. And then it should not get strayed, it should not get distracted, it should not get lost. So the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into dreary desert sand of dead habit. Dreary, gloomy, dull desert of dead habit, sand of dead habit. Dead habit here means outdated, dead practices, orthodox, blind faiths, superstitious beliefs that are hurdles and obstacles in one's path of progress and success. So one should get rid of all these outdated dead practices, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Here THEED means you. Where the mind is led forward by thee, by you. Here he is praying to the Almighty. He is urging to God. The poet is urging. He is offering his prayers to God, and he is saying that where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action means your action, your thought, you should expand the horizons of your action and thought. It should not be limited, it should not be stagnant, but it should be like the flowing water, and it should expand its horizons, its limitation. It should not be haunted by the past failures, but it should also foresee the future challenges and experience scientific methods, make something new, create something new, become an influence, become an example and inspiration for the rest. So, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. So he wants his countrymen to awake in a heaven, in a place, in a country that is not less than a paradise, and it is a moral awakening, a spiritual and intellectual awakening also, where we wanted the people to get rid of the repression and oppression, subjugation, and from the chain of slavery, and move forward, break through it, come out of it, and make a new world for themselves to live in. So where the mind is without fear, we can say it's a it showcase the patriotic feelings of the poet. It showcase the dreads, the pathos, the sorrows that the countryman is going through during the British rule, and he wanted them to break through it, to come out of those clutches and make a world, a space for them to live, where they can live happily, where they can really understand and feel the joy of happiness, the joy of freedom. So here this has been beautifully represented in this poem, and the power of reasoning and deep insight will lead each person towards the path of perfection. So here elaborated, you can write in your own words the explanation of the poem. It is a prayer to God, to Almighty by the poet. The lines are easy to understand. Head is high. Here the head is high means one should feel pride in one's freedom. One should realize the values of freedom. Now knowledge should be free, where everyone should have an access to knowledge irrespective of caste and creed. Now depth of truth here means the reality. One should understand and realize the true sense of reality. What does it mean? Now let my country awake, and into that heaven he wants his countrymen to understand, to live happily with the harmonious brotherhood with each other. And Tagore's prayer to the Almighty is to lead the nation and to make it an ideal country. So here you can go through the lines of the poem. It's a beautiful poem, and hope you have understood the meaning of the poem, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Fragments means it should not be divided in boundaries, and then narrow domestic walls means don't divide, but the division should be, you can say, the division, there should not be any division, because we should treat this whole world as one, and we all are like brothers and sisters. So there should be the feeling, the harmonious brotherhood feeling between us. Where the clear stream of reason has not its way, the clear stream of reason, again I'm explaining these lines because these are important to understand, and if you understand the lines well, you can elaborate it, analyze it, and summarize it in your own words. So this uncorrupted power of reasoning, and therefore the clear stream, you should be wise, you should be clear, there should not be any doubts, and you should not judge your wits or your logic with any presumed or assumed views and opinions, but you should be very clear about your own thoughts, and it should not be only in thoughts, but it should also be transformed into action, and then only you can lead to the path of success. So thank you, students, for watching.